So welcome back to the workbench. Tried my best to clean it up, but that's what happens. So today, or probably through the course of the next few days, I'm going to build another quad. I bought these parts essentially right after I started with the last one. So got a nicer CCD camera. This is a Foxeer XAT600. So a little bit nicer camera. Well, a lot nicer than my last one. And then this TX801 transmitter goes from all the way from 1 milliwatt up to 600. It's got some crazy features in there. We'll see how that all works out. I've seen bad reviews on this, but I ordered it like a month ago, so I figured might as well try it. And then some RP-SMA to SMA 90-degree adapters so I can put it into the top plate. These are really nice if you don't want to change out your antennas all the time. They're like $1 a piece, maybe, not even. Some XT60 connectors, because I'm not going to be running a PDB on this setup, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So this is the Amway right-hand circular cloverleafs in SMA. Always good to have more of those. You never know when you crash them. You can repair these when you crash them. Just get new ones. Then just the Racer Star 2205, 2300 kV. Nothing special. They're cheap. Purple though. There's a reason for that, and I'll show you in a minute. But they do look pretty slick. Not gonna lie. I'm pretty pumped about this. This is the new Raptor S, 30 amp, all-in-one. It's a 4-in-1 ESCs on the bottom here. So you got your 4 ESCs, go out to your motors. But it's also an integrated PDB that goes up to an F3 flight controller. Can do S-Bus, I-Bus, PPM, PWM. Really nice unit. It has an integral OSD as well, which is something that I really wanted. Total weight of 20 grams. Right there. So pretty pumped about that. And then this thing. The Realacc Blackbird. Look at the arms on that sucker. 8mm wide, 4mm thickness. I think I'm going to have to extend my wires, though, unfortunately. Yeah. She ain't going to fit. That, I'm worried about these points at the end. But I just bought this frame because it's super, super light, and I just want to rip around with it. If I break it, I bought a replacement cheapo 3mm for like $12, the LS210. I'll link to that in the description too. So if everything, you know, breaks on this Blackbird, I got a replacement for it. Alright. PDB we don't need. 2, 3. Probably shouldn't put these on first, but I'll see that one was way easier. any significant shaping on carbon fiber, you don't want to breathe that stuff in. So usually what I'll do is go wet sand. It's a big shout out to the Rotor Riot guys because their videos showed me to do that. We can put, that doesn't make any sense though. How is that supposed to be? Oh, that's held down with the standoffs. Looks like this goes, just lays in there like that. That's different. I'll probably just assemble this whole top portion first, just to have it all together. So, because the bottom, oops. Dive into this one, get some screws. It's pretty annoying. Thanks, Realacc. It's awesome. Already stealing parts from a frame I haven't built yet. The fit on this is just horrendous. Those screws are real tough to get in there. Whatever. Keep on keeping on, I guess. It's just a dumb design. Unless I'm missing something. If I'm missing something, somebody should say something. You can't put the strap on like normal on the base plate. Because when you do that, this happens. This big gap in betwixt your arms. And then you can't do it over the arms because you need this securing plate beneath your PDB. So what you have to do is put the plate on your arms, your standoffs, then your strap. So I just have some standoffs and nuts lying around, so I'm going to put those in just to keep everything together, but I'll take those off after I get the flight controller mounted. That's the only way I can kind of figure this out. I'll just put the Raptor on loose for now and then I'll tighten it up. But so far that's pretty slick, and that, I'm telling you, that weighs absolutely nothing. It's crazy. So if you're looking to purchase this frame, there's just no way you're gonna fit a PDB, you know, I mean, I'm gonna have a hard time fitting the VTX in that sucker. But you're gonna have a hard time doing a triple stack in there, like if you had a 4-in-1 without the PDB integrated. I mean, that is just unbelievably tiny. Oh, I'm gonna break this in 2 minutes. But whatever, it's fun building them. 5042 DYS. So just to get some perspective there, that's pretty intense, man. Why do I do this to myself? You know why? Because it's flipping cool, bro. But you gotta be a man to rock purple. I guess you could be a woman too. That's kind of sexist. But you have to be confident in your sexuality to rock purple. The reason I went with purple is because the standoffs on this frame were purple. And the flight controller's purple. So, yeah. So at any rate, I'm going to have to extend these. Which is a shame. But the good part about never cleaning your desk is I have all my cutoffs from my last build just lying around. I think this is going to chill out on the workbench for the night. I'm going to go clear my SD card. I'm going to drop some more motors. So it is now the next day. And I want to talk a little bit about this camera and this frame. I had to drill these holes out slightly to mount the camera. So the Raptor S stack is like one of the smallest stacks you can get with everything that it has in it, but yet it is still too large. It just barely fits. The X6B receiver is going to have to be in here somewhere, mounted somehow, because I can't mount it like I did in my previous build and put it here, because every time I add the standoffs, it hits the top. So if the people that design this frame are watching this, the base plate and the top plate just need to be like 4 millimeters wider. So I need to extend these motor wires. Alright, so a few notes on putting these motors on with this frame. The stock wires were just like 20 millimeters too short to have them lay down on the frame. So now I have to come up with a way to connect my camera, my receiver, and my VTX. That should be fun. Well, I'm running into all sorts of problems, but I'll show you kind of what I did to rectify some of this stuff. So, the VTX, just plain and simple, with the RP-SMA adapter, will not fit in the top plate correctly. It butts up against the camera. What I've done to put it on the top plate vertically is on these extensions, they have small lock washers. This lock pressure washer. So I put one over the RP-SMA, then the top plate, then one more, top of that, and then I screw down my RP-SMA to SMA out, and that'll act as a nut. So the VTX will stay completely vertical. Right? And then I just soldered these power leads kind of at a 45-degree angle so the VTX can sit in the middle. I know it's going to be interference central, but honestly I have no idea what else to do here. And there's just, I thought about putting it on top, just sticking out, but at least this is then somewhat protected and I can read out and change right there. So I just, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of options with this. Okay, so what I've done here is I ran the FC through Betaflight, and it is updated to 3.10. So that was December of 2016. The UARTs are all enabled out of the box. UART 1, 2, and 3. The micro USB connector on the COM port is set to UART 1, so there is no virtual COM port. I just lost everything I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh, this new version, this is the 30 amp ESCs, the Raptor S. The new version runs BL S, and they can run one shot and D shot up to 600. I'm probably just going to run like D shot 150 or something like that. And then I'm going to run out an S bus. And what I've done is just put the receiver up, and I'm having the antennas kind of hold it up there. And I'll probably just hit it with a spot of hot glue so that it'll sit on top. What the heck, man? That's a 4-pin. It's a 4-pin on the Raptor, 3-pin on the X6B. So no matter what you do, you're going to have to connect these two wires. This to the S tower, this to the X6B receiver. So what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this 5-pin, and I'm just going to invert it like that, and I'm going to put it in the 4-pin Pico. And to do that, you just wiggle them out. Lift up the plastic tab. Yeah, that's all you do. See how easy it is? They should work themselves out. Signal, ground, positive. So we insert the new 3. We push them down. So it's important to note, this flight controller does not support iBus. So I'm going to run S-Bus. Let's get some hot glue out. If you can, should you do something different? Of course. But I don't really have the option, so. Jeez. What am I doing? So now I need to plug the flight controller back in. Make sure it goes down straight on the pins. Antenna on the VTX. Never run a VTX without one. Might burn it out. Alright, so let's connect it and see if she lets the smoke out. Output mode, S-Bus, RX bind. And then you have to push this as you plug it in, which is interesting, but let's hope she doesn't let the smoke out, huh? I'm pretty confident I did it correctly, but you never know. This is the problem with this X6B. This is so hard to hit that button and plug it in. Hey. Alright, let's plug it in and see if the VTX is working. There we go. Auto search. Heyo. And it's right side up. Alright, so I'm now at the point where I know everything works. I did have to cross wires on motors 2 and 3. If you wire them directly 1, 2, 3 with the wires, you can go into BL Heli and fix them if you need to. I updated the firmware to Betaflight 3.1.7. It's the new release of Betaflight for April 2017. Everything seems to work well, even without props. It got a little wobbly on me, and that motor hit right there and took all the layers of skin off. So be careful. On this model that I have of the S Tower, the OSD, as long as you open the serial port up for UART2, you can actually use it in the Chrome version of MWOSD. So I'll put a link in to a couple good videos about how to pass the serial port and get in there. But you can actually use the Chrome version. I think it's of MWOSD is 1.7.1.5, and it's all, click what you want on your OSD, what you don't, and then upload it right back up to the OSD as long as the battery's connected. Worked like a champ. Show you guys this thing. This is just your, I don't know, you use it for like cell phones and stuff. It's cheap, you can get them at Walgreens. But like, it's just, it holds anything in place, right? And then you just peel it off. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a battery pad on the bottom of the quad. And then when they get dirty on the top, all you do is wash them off in the sink. Pretty nifty. I don't know about you guys, but I think those standoffs really tie the quad together. Only problem I got with it is that stupid blue antenna. Poke out the other side. And there is plenty of space in there. So. Just to give it something to stick to the battery. Although I don't fly as much as I would like to, so I don't know how well that holds up over time, but so far hasn't been an issue. So I'll let that dry this morning, I guess, because it's not night anymore. Okay, a couple things to note here. I did take it out. I got to fly it a little bit, and flies really well. But there was a couple things to get this going that gave me a headache. So the astute among you will notice that these props have changed. The reason is because I bent the other ones up trying to get this thing all smoothed out. So what I did when I hooked it up, I did all motors straight to the ESCs on motors 1 and 4, and then motors 2 and motor 3 I crossed the second and third wires, okay, like a normal kind of delivery for an ESC 4 and 1. Motors 2 and 3 were spinning opposite of motors 1 and 4, but all 4 had to be reversed in BL Heli S. So I had to go into BL Heli and I had to reverse all 4 because they were all the wrong way. I honestly don't know what happened there. I went 1, 2, 3 on the motors, and then 1, 3, 2 on motors 2 and 3, just like normal. So I don't know why they were reversed, but I was getting a lot of yaw shake, like a whole bunch, if I went over throttle just a little bit. So another thing to point out with this, so you need to reverse your motors if they're not acting right. If you're running a Fly Sky and an X6B receiver, you want to make sure that that receiver then is on iBus in Betaflight. And then I set the motor hertz rate to 4 and 2, and it seems to be handling fine. I'm on one shot 125. As far as flight characteristics of this model, it's a very good model. The frame itself, really nice. Once I got it all worked out, it was flying really, really nicely. So these are Racer Star 5040 props, kind of a low pitch, but I really like these kind of malleable plastic props Racer Star has. You can get packs of 10 pairs, so 20 props total, 10 left, 10 right. You get those for like $8, and they seem to be super durable, and they're very, very quiet, which I like. Before that, I had on the DYS props, and they were really hard plastic, and once you bang those up, you're pretty much done. So that's why I like these for when you're tuning. Put these on instead. Now, I ordered these. They were supposed to be purple, so obviously that didn't quite work out, but what are you going to do? So the frame, although it is very small and it looks very light, this whole unit is not much, it doesn't weigh much less than this unit that I put together before. So if you're going for a really light build, granted I didn't use the lightest parts possible. Overall, really, really happy with these two quads. I'm probably not going to do a lot more quad builds. I might do like a 130 or something like that. Just, you know, I don't have the money to pour into toys, and that's what these are. So, if you do like the video, though, like, maybe even subscribe, and I'll catch you later.